Weekends, you had a very different weekend, didn't you, Lynda?
Yes, I'd rather not talk about mine, thank you. All I can say is it was worse than childbirth. No, I'll be fine. I've got over my nerves now. Onwards and upwards, and I don't want to let anybody down out there. I won't. I'm going to take it. The thing is, you know, it was the first week we're supposed to be learning to dance.
Yes.
So give us a break.
When are you going to start? I'm only joking.
Well.
I'm shaking the mic.
Yes, I know. No, I'm immune now. I've had my cry. I'm immune. There's nothing you can say now to upset me, anybody.
Bella's,
Just relax and enjoy it.
And the first week's out of the way. That's the big embarrassing thing, going out on the first week. You've done that, you can just have a giggle.
Yes, onwards and upwards.
And Lynda, I watched you on a weeny little TV in a caravan this weekend. And you still look lovely. The reception was very poor, but you still look lovely.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no, we decided on this spur-of-the-moment thing just to go away for the weekend. Then we remembered we had a dog. I thought, well, what can we do that you can take a dog with you? So we sort of headed down to the south coast.
They had 2 children.
Yes, that's right. Well, hotels, they kind of let you bring children, but not always dogs. Do you know, we ended up in Poole in Dorset, and we stayed at one of these, you know, caravan park places. We had a brilliant time, absolutely brilliant. We're on the beach all day, on Saturday and Sunday. The dog loved it, the kids loved it. Amy slept all night in her own bed, so we're going to move to Poole in Dorset because something happens there.
You could put her in a caravan at the bottom of the garden, of course.
Yes.
Oh, well, I managed to escape a bit as well, actually. I didn't go to the seaside, but I went to... because I had last week off as well, and I do some mad things when they give me time off from this show. The last time they gave me a week off, I found a long-lost relative. Seriously, that's another story. Well, I did a bit of investigating, but yes, so that was that week. And then last week, I decided to relocate to the country.
OK.
So we're moving in January.
Well, how seriously, though? I mean, did you just go to the country and think, oh, it'd be nice to live here?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, no. Well, I mean, it took about 2 hours to decide. We have been looking for a house in the country, and we thought we may have found it, so we took a builder to have a little look to see if we could do what we wanted to do to it. But as this was probably going to happen quicker than we thought we'd better check out schools for Beau. So we went to this school. The headmistress was lovely, said she had a place for Beau, but she would probably benefit by starting sooner rather than later, because we're thinking maybe a year's time. So she said, well, how about January? So
wow,
we're moving.
Well, guess
I don't know anything about the country. I've only ever had a window box, so...
Well, I'm not, because I went to the country a couple of weeks ago and it stunk. Well, it did. It was manure time, and they were putting it... Oh, it stunk. Anyway, so I thought, well, I'll try it again. So I went to a different part of the country, one a bit further nearer where you were, and it didn't smell at all. But I got to say, Mark did say to me, he said, do you think when we're old, we'll move to the country?
I'm not old.
And I said, I am old, and no, we are never moving to the country. So bless him, he's like, you know... anyway,
I can recommend a really good caravan park.
Okay, but I'm still worried about Bella's. I'm still worried about Bella's and your dancing thing and your nerves. I've got some good advice for you.
Yeah.
I think it's time to start drinking again.
Unfortunately, you're right, I think.
I think it'll sort you out, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, this is enough to drive you to drink. All this week, all eyes are on London Fashion Week. However, I don't know if you read about this. All eyes are on all eyes and ears on a designer's decision. Shock horror. He used size 12 to 14 models. Oh my goodness, a beast. It caused a furore because apparently the designer, he's called Mark Fast. Basically,
never heard of him.
I know. I haven't. Well, he's very well known for his knitwear, apparently. Yes, you need that when you're in a caravan. Apparently, his stylist walked out because he thought that fashion is better shown on thinner women, and he walked out. So, what do we think? Do you think the designer's good? He should be applauded for using larger models?
Well, do you know, I don't even think that it should be a subject for debate. And you know what? Really, it just upsets me and it bores me stupid that every time London Fashion Week comes around, and it is supposed to be about promoting British fashion, the British fashion industry. You know, and it is really for the trade. It's like we get to see the nice pictures and everything, but for some reason, it always boils down to, and it always ends up being all about whether the models are thin or fat. And, you know, models have always been thin. And the reason the stylist walked out was because it is the stylist's job, really, to make the show look the best it possibly can, make the clothes look the best they possibly can. And unfortunately, whether you like it or not, they do look better on thinner women. Now, there is a big debate about whether those women are too thin.
I don't think everything does look better on skinny women. I think
On
there
a
are certain
catwalk, yes,
outfits
it does.
that look lovely if you've got breasts and a waist and some hips. You know, it depends what the designer is using, the kind of the nature and the shape of his design.
But they shouldn't have to do that. It's up to the buyer, isn't it? If the buyer is sitting there thinking, right, yeah, we could probably buy some of those in this size, and that's look good on a larger girl.
I think it's the stylist's job to make sure that the designer, whatever size women they decide to use, looks good. And I think it's a shame. I agree with you that they shouldn't actually use size 12 or 14 women as it's some kind of massive novelty.
Well, exactly.
And I think it's a huge publicity stunt again. I think it would be much more admirable and more sort of constructive to just use these women and not say anything about it.
Well,
just treat it like it's normal.
They're talking about forcing them to use bigger women on the catwalk. I mean,
and actually, we are supposedly have been, over the years, the forefront of fashion, and we've been renowned for some fashion. I do think it's time to say, to show it on the catwalk before it gets to the buyer, before it gets altered, to say, look, you can wear a jumper, a skirt that's knitted, and look fabulous, and the girl does look fabulous. And it is a perception. I understand. In the 50s and 60s, mannequins were always, well, they were nothing to do with real people, were they? The models on catwalks, fine. That's one area, but I do think he's right to try and present the fashion industry with a new look and get used to it, for goodness sake. You know,
we're buying the clothes, aren't we?
Talking of new looks, well, actually, I suppose it's kind of a rehashing of an old look, and Joan Collins is apparently thrilled. Shoulder pads are back. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Don't say, oh, it's great. That Joan Collins, I think is really funny. Apparently, she said, while flipping through the latest glossies, I spied several looks that are almost exact copies of what I wore in Dynasty. Good thing I kept some.
Well, I shall have to go back now and get them all out and sew them back in again. I've taken them all out. Actually, it's quite funny. If you spent quite a lot of money when they were in last time, it was very much a mark of how much you spent on your suit or your jacket as to how well they fitted, or what you did was you did buy a thing and stuff it in, and then halfway through the evening you thought, oh my God, I've got a spot on my arm.
It looks like you've got really big muscles. It's funny how when you wear something the first time around, you think, when it first comes back, you think, no way, I'm never wearing that, and then suddenly it just all begins to look totally normal again, doesn't it? Like, look, this, our girl on the show who gets our clothes, Hannah, she got me this, and when I first saw it, I thought, oh, I don't think so, I don't think so. But now I think it's fantastic.
Oh, I think it really suits you.
So, isn't that? It is. But that, like, you know...
that little bit there, that's really nice.
It's in the 80s, though. They were like loafers in your...
Exactly.
Oh, they were up there.
Yeah, weren't they?
They were. And in fact, I did an episode of Blake 7, and I had to wear big shoulder pads, and I've not got a very long neck, so it went across there like that. So I was, like, looking out of my dress with no...
do you remember 5 Star? Do you remember?
Yes.
They all had massive shoulder pads all out here. They could hardly down.
I think they're great if they go in at the waist. If they go out and they sort of stay out and go down, then
you just look like a big box.
And if you're short,
well, you look like Mr. Strong.
You look like Mr. Strong with little arms coming out, or a little insect running across the floor with a box on its back, you know.
Time to take a quick break, but we're